Hello and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Our focus is on the North Central today, but first, our top stories. 5 farmers have been reportedly killed by armed men in Ajegunle Powerline community in Akure North local government area of Ondo State. The victims were said to be laborers from Plateau and Benue State working on farmlands. An eyewitness account narrated that the attack occurred around 3 p.m. on Tuesday, adding that the herdsmen had engaged in destroying their crop and disrupting their livelihood in that community. According to the source, who is also a farmer, the attacks have become a daily occurrence and many farmers have fled their lands for fear of being killed. Officials of the Awka Capital Territory Development Authority have visited the site of a collapsed 3-story building under construction near Diamond Pizza along the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway in Awka, the Anambra State capital. According to an eyewitness, the building, which was at roofing level, collapsed around 5:25 p.m. on Wednesday. Passersby and commuters joined in efforts, pulled casualties from the rubble and assisted those injured. The agency had immediately set up a panel of inquiry to determine the remote and immediate cause of the incident and announced that further details will be communicated to the public. Residents of Ijedodo in Iba local community development area in Ojo, Lagos have protested against the planned demolition of their houses. According to the residents, trouble started in 2023 and escalated into 2024 when the Federal Housing Authority invaded the community with armed policemen and started marking their houses without any prior notice. This led the community members to protest, and they have appealed to the federal and state governments to intervene and come to their aid.
We are here to refute claims that we saw on TVC News that this area belongs to Amuwo Odofin local government and that this place is Festac extension. This place is Iba LCDA under Ojo local government. Yes, sir. And again, our representatives, both in House of Rep, Lagos State House of Assembly, they all represent Ojo Constituency 1 and Ojo Constituency 2. And I am calling on government. It's not confrontation. We are begging them. Yes, oh. That please, in the name of God. In the name of God. In the name of God. Oh. That they should give us breathing space and allow our houses to stand. Yes, yes, yes. Because you promised hope. Yes. It should not be hopelessness. Yes. Yes. Like me and others, we are pensioners. Yes. That we have served this country meritoriously. And our childhood, we used it to work for this country.
The Niger state government has appealed to miners to embrace the responsible mining policy of the state government for their safety. Governor Umaru Bago made this known when he visited the scene of the explosion to commiserate with the victims and community members. The governor acknowledged that the area has large deposits of gold and it's characterized by artisanal mining, resulting in insecurity in the area, so they have explosives and guns in their possessions.
Niger State in north-central Nigeria is in the news again as it grapples with yet another disaster. The explosion of dynamites in Sabompegi, a community in Mashegu local government area. Governor Umar Bago visits the scene of the incident in the company of the Minister for Information and other government officials to commiserate with victims and members of the community.
I have been able to come with some support to support them, with some support, financially for those that lost their houses and properties and lives. The state government and the federal government and the state assembly and Niger State senator from this zone, and also members of the House of Representatives have also bringing in donations. So we are calling on all Nigerites and all Nigerians to continue to support us in this time of difficulty.
It's a disaster coming too soon, especially for Niger State, which is still reeling from the tanker explosion that left about 100 people dead.
We have been able to reorganize miners in Niger State to a certain level, because we have realized that this menace of mining, illegal mining, artisanal mining has been here for a very long time, but nobody put attention to it. But now that we've realized that, we have seen that their waters are polluted, the environment is degraded, and also the hazardous items are found in their homes. Some of them have lead poisoning. We have a number of people with kidney and renal infections as a result of all these things. So we have called on them to see that they use the conventional ways of mining, and we are also collaborating with them, with the state agencies, to see that, okay, they have protective gears, they understand what it takes, and even their waters are not polluted, and these things are done far away from where people live.
The Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, NEMA, and other relevant ministries, departments, and agencies have already been directed to carry out continuous advocacy to communities to ensure Nigeria is safe from man-made disasters.
The President is deeply saddened, and he has instructed that the National Orientation Agency carry out advocacy and enlightenment campaigns, especially among these rural communities, to avert the reoccurrence of this. Only a few weeks ago, we saw what happened in Dikko, we saw what happened in Enugu, we saw what happened a few months ago in Jigawa and elsewhere in Niger State, in Ibadan. These are tragedies that are virtually man-made. We cannot allow them to continue.
Meanwhile, the police is once again appealing to residents to be alert at all times and report suspicious activity.
What I expect from our people is that they should be vigilant and try to say something when they see something. Anything unusual, cry out, pinch your neighbor. This thing is here, it's dangerous. Then it will get to the appropriate agencies and help will come to such communities.
Local authorities say 69 people were affected by the dynamite explosion, out of which 2 people died. Those affected are to receive financial support from the state government, totaling 174 million naira.
The First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has commissioned an Information and Communication Technology Center to empower women and youth in Kwara State. At the commissioning ceremony, she said the Renewed Hope initiative under the Social Investment Program, in collaboration with the National Information Technology Development Agency, is to bridge the nation's digital gap.
The desire to accelerate economic diversification through digitalization, as captured in the federal government's Renewed Hope agenda, has gained traction in the North Central geopolitical zone with the inauguration of a community ICT center at the wife of the president, Oluremi Tinubu, in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Mrs. Tinubu commissions the ICT Community Center located at the State College of Education, Ilorin. She is confident that a facility like this will provide invaluable opportunities for women and youths to grow.
I'm glad to hear about the success stories and the opportunities these centers afford members of these various communities that have benefited from this intervention. I urge members of this community to take full ownership of this center. The success of the center depends on your active participation and utilization of the resources available.
Wife of the state governor, Olufolake Abdul-Razak, is happy that women and youths are being given this huge opportunity. She believes the initiative will position them for the opportunities that are abound in the global digital space.
Today's commissioning speaks to the many engagements and partnerships of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria towards ensuring that Nigerians are adequately supported in the pursuit of their goals and improving livelihoods of the most indigent, to complement the efforts of Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR.
This is a fundamental part of the President's commitment to harnessing the potentials of digital innovation to drive national prosperity and inclusivity. Meanwhile, the Kwara State Governor Abdulrahman Abdul-Razak says the ICT project is not just an investment in infrastructure, but a powerful statement about the essential role of technology in the digital era.
Technology is here to stay, and the only path forward is to aggressively invest in the skills and infrastructure that will secure a prosperous future for our students, kids, and communities. I thank Mr. President for transforming the Ministry of Communication to focus on digital economy and ensuring that Nigeria remains competitive in this fast-evolving space.
The Renewed Hope initiative under the RHI Economic Empowerment Scope also promised to give a grant of 50 million naira to support another set of 1,000 women petty traders with a sum of 50,000 naira each.
Staying in Kwara, the state government appears to be intensifying efforts to boost livestock production for the benefit of its people. This has led to the training of 800 farmers and extension workers via the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project to facilitate its drive in achieving food and nutrition security.
This is a gathering of the 8th batch of farmers and extension agents trained by the Kwara State Government and the World Bank through the Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, known as LPRES. This batch makes it 800 out of the 1,000 who have so far been trained on how to convert crop residues to animal feeds instead of disposing them.
Over the past 5 days, we have covered a wide range of topics, from the basic of small ruminants production to the importance of crop residue processing or sustainable livestock feeding. Our team of expert facilitators has worked tirelessly to ensure that you have gained the knowledge, skills, and confidence to implement these practices in your respective communities. I am proud to say that this training program has achieved its objectives, and we have empowered over 100 extension agents and farmers with the capacity to improve small ruminant production and crop residue processing in their areas. The total number trained now stands at 800. As you return to your communities and circles, I urge you all to share the knowledge and skills you have acquired with your farmers, colleagues, friends, and family members.
The training also focuses on the need to increase the productivity of the ruminants, especially now that there are interest in goats from Nigeria by Saudi Arabia, according to reports.
Because presently, Saudi Arabia has a partnership with Nigeria that they need about 100,000 worth of goats every month, which we know in Nigeria we can't produce presently. So what LPS is trying to do is that we want everybody, all farmers, livestock farmers, to have.
Rector of the Kwara State Polytechnic, Dr. Abdul Jimo, is one of the trainees and believes the exercise will afford him an opportunity to turn the livestock rearing to commercial purposes.
It was just an hobby. But with this training, I observed that there's a lot of business opportunities in ruminant animal production. A lot of business opportunities. But when you go to farms, after harvesting maize, guinea corn and all that, there's always leftovers, the residue of the harvest. Those residues were taught how to turn into animal feed. And I observed that in production of small ruminant animal farm. The highest cost of production is in the feed, which is 70% of the cost of production. And by making use of this crop residue, you must have reduced the cost of production from 70% to barely 5%.
We have quite a number of them here.
The training of farmers and extension agents continue with other batches as the Kwara State government strives to improve livestock productivity in the state.
As part of its strategy to address its food security challenges, the Plateau State government is set to boost agricultural production through all-year farming activities. Governor Caleb Mufwang says his administration has developed mechanisms to boost agriculture with the introduction and encouragement of dry season farming. The secretary to the state government, Mr. Samuel Jatu, stated this in Tunkus, Minkan local government area and said that the government is providing the necessary support to the local administration for dry season farming.
We intend to support farmers with other agriculture for dry season farming, because we need to optimize our farming potentials on the plateau. We should be able to have 3 planting seasons if we project well. Because right now, out of 12 months, we're using only 4 months. God gave us 12 months, we're using only 4, we're wasting 8. So we want to at least use 8 of the whole 12, which is possible. And if that is done, it is going to create wealth for our people, it's going to bring food sustainability, and it will make the land green.
In the past, most of the time, we wait until maybe when it's rainy season before we start making fertilizers available for people. But we're trying to change the narratives by asking our own people, do not only wait for the rainy season, you can start a dry farming season, irrigation and others. So that at the end of the year, when other civil servants are receiving their salary, at the end of the season, you are also expected to have a yield that will be equivalent to what others are receiving as salary, because that is your own office as far as that is concerned. And we do that gladly by trying to subsidize it. In subsidizing this, we have taken a different approach. And what is the approach? We try to engage our elected councillors in the 18 electoral ward in consultation with their own community to submit what they actually need. And then we believe that this fertilizer will first go down to the real beneficiaries, who are the real farmers.
Meanwhile, the Plateau State government has also reshuffled its cabinet and has approved the disengagement of 5 members of the State Executive Council. In a statement signed by the Secretary to the Government of the State, Mr. Samuel Jatu, the affected council members are the commissioners of the Ministries of Commerce and Industry, Sule Musa, Science and Technology, Associate Professor Obed Kossel, Youth and Sports Development, Noel Nkup, Budget and Economic Planning, Chrysanthos Dawan, and that of Tourism, Culture and Hospitality, Jamila Tuka. In their stead, the governor approved 5 nominees to serve as commissioners and expressed his appreciation and best wishes to those who served as Executive Council members. Political alignments have begun in Benue State ahead of the 2027 general election as the people of Kwande Federal Constituency are canvassing for the governorship seat to complete the tenure of late Akwe Aku, whose time in the seat of power was cut short during the military era of 1983. Addressing journalists at the briefing in Makadi, the Benue State capital, the group led by Mr. Leonard Inyam said the divisive politics going on in Benue State at the moment is robbing it of development, as the blueprint from the Akpa Eku era has been unfulfilled. They also asked residents to support equitable power sharing formula in the state.
We, the members of this movement, have not embarked on a new exercise. We only seek to complete an assignment that is yet to be realized. Each generation must discover its own mission, betray or complete it. says a prominent officer. We have chosen to accomplish our mission. We reiterate that as the offspring of very confident patriots who have offered the ultimate service, sacrificed several times, and also offered proven and undeniable quality service to the state, we feel Benue would reckon with this and also reciprocate by giving us another opportunity.
Conde is demanding for what is rightly theirs because, as it stands, the present government, under the leadership of His Excellency Dr. Alia, has completed the zoning system that was not completed by the late Reverend Adaso. Going forward in 2027, a Konima will be filled in that position to complete that which Apeleku did not complete. So this is not a new thing. We are not targeting anybody. We are only demanding for what is rightly for Konde. Thank you.
Discussions have commenced on the implementation of the Value Chain Program in northern Nigeria. It's an 8-year initiative that was validated on March the 21st, 2024, and co-founded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the Food and Agriculture Organization, as well as the federal government. The program aims to reduce poverty, enhance nutrition, and better resilience of rural and the most vulnerable populations in the north with the support of 9 states.
Representatives of agricultural finance agencies, government officials and farmers from participating states of the Value Chain Program in northern Nigeria are meeting to discuss how the program will translate to improved outputs and yields for farmers. Nutrition, rural financing, production and marketing are some of the areas that the program aims to achieve when implementation commences in August 2025.
This collaborative approach with development partners and UN agencies foster the scaling up of investment and the efficiency of our initiative in support to national priorities for agri-food system transformation and for sustainable development along the humanitarian development and peace nexus.
9 states in northern Nigeria have been selected for the intervention. The project is estimated to reach 456,000 smallholder farmers and rural entrepreneurs comprising 40% women, 60% youth, 10% people with disabilities and 5% IDP returnees, as well as support 3.1 million households.
Farmer organizations are well structured and active across the value chains and are key players across the various value chains that has been studied. However, they are constrained by working capital and access to finance and other supports.
Today, with this new program, the Value Chain North, we are taking our support to the sector to another level. It is not just to focus on infrastructure, infrastructure is definitely key and is very important, crucial for the development of the country.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is excited at the intervention and is hopeful of its impact on the nation's food security plan.
This event marks a significant step forward in our collective commitment to transforming agriculture in northern Nigeria, reducing poverty, and fostering inclusive growth through sustainable value chain development.
Improved income for farmers, job creation, and improved yield are some of the expected impacts of the Value Chain Program in northern Nigeria.
The federal government has mandated the Federal Inland Revenue Service to generate 25.2 trillion naira in tax revenue for the 2025 fiscal year. This ambitious target follows the agency's historic achievement last year, where it collected 21.6 trillion naira, surpassing its 19.4 trillion naira goal. The executive chairman of the agency, Dr. Zak Adeliji, described last year's performance as a landmark moment in Nigeria's tax administration history. According to him, the FIRS is committed to block revenue leakages through law implementation and technology. The Federal Capital Territory High Court, Kuje, has rescheduled the arraignment of the former Executive Secretary of the National Health Insurance Scheme, Professor Usman Yusuf, to February the 3rd. On Wednesday, January the 29th, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had arrested Professor Yusuf and brought him before the court today for arraignment on allegations of fraud. The arraignment was, however, moved to Monday to allow for amendment of the charges. Though the defense counsel, Issa Haruna, who held brief for the lead defense counsel, made an application for bail, it was turned down by the court on account of the defendant's deferred arraignment. The judge adjourned the matter for arraignment and ruled that the defendant be remanded in the custody of the EFCC. That's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Melinda Akinlami.